In the final days, the deep melodious tones of a man's voice broke into the silence. Aztlan ans Haron. Slowly the brilliance of the white light receded. Solana could now perceive the figure of a man dressed in a deep violet robes, gesturing with fluid movements. The man was deep in concentrated prayer. Solana felt that this must be the respected Dr. Zat. As he watched, the man completed his magic and raised his arms in the sign of Atlantean greeting to Solana. His keen-blue eyes held a piercing intensity. They peered into Solana, subtly scanning the records of his soul. Solana spoke not, but watched the man intently, perceiving him through his own impeccable clarity. Dr. Z emanated an aura of far-reaching authority and deep wisdom. Although he appeared ageless, Solana had the impression that he was an ancient soul who had been on Earth for a very long time indeed. Welcome to Atlantis. I am Dr. Zed, but of course, and you shall presume are Solana, a true son of An. How are you feeling? He asked solicitously. Solana took a few moments to find his voice as he felt himself slowly settling back into his physical form, which felt quite different than before. Answering carefully, he replied, I am returning to the awareness of my body, but I'm not completely into it yet. Excellent, Dr. Z commented. We must make haste to live here. The hill of the Makers is no longer a safe place to tarry. We must not be discovered. Can walk yet? I shall try, Solon answered weakly. Dr. Set offered him his arm and helped him to his feet. Solana stood unsteadily, leaning heavily on the tall frame of Dr. Zed. I feel a bit dizzy, Solana remarked. That will soon pass, Dr. Zed said kindly. We can walk over to the wall so that you may lean against it. Here, I brought you a rope to wear. You must not walk about in the clothing of An. There are few here who would recognize its origin, and it could prove potentially dangerous for you. Dr. Zed helped Solana pull the hooded other rope over his head, but this time Solana felt his strength returning and could walk about unaided. We shall live here by the old system of tunnels which are now unused, Dr. Z explained. We must step lightly and take care not to make a sound because they are always in danger of collapsing. But, he added cheerfully, at least we shall not be seen. Solana was led outside to a stone wall whereupon Dr. Z delicately taped a certain rock 3 times with a crystal that he had pulled out from his robes. The large stone swung inwards with scarcely a sound, and they entered the darkness of the secret tunnel. Before the rock had returned into position, Solana saw Dr. Zed take an empty lantern down from a bracket on the wall. Reaching once again into the mysterious folds of his robes, he brought forth a small twinkling object which he placed inside the lantern. Instantly, it burst into glowing light. This was a gift to me from Alora, highest priestess of the temple of Oralin, Dr. Zed explained in a hushed voice. It is a real star and works stars when there is need of light. Alora is one of the few in Atlantis who can be totally trusted anymore. When you meet her, notice her breastplate. It contains 13 of these real stars. It was given to her by her starry people, who reside in the cave heavens, far up in the distant sky. The lantern illuminated fully the dark, crumbly tunnels. Pieces of fallen rocks and debris littered the rough floor. Passages forked off frequently, but Dr. Z seems to have no hesitation as to his direction. Solana noticed how easily it would be to become hopelessly lost and confused in here. The air was heavy, but not overwhelmingly stale. There must be some source of fresh air still entering the tunnels, Solana thought to himself. They walked on, stepping delicately and soundlessly. After what had appeared to be quite a long time, Dr. Z motioned to Solana to stop and make not a noise. He handed him the lantern and crept cautiously forward into the darkness. After a few minutes, Dr. Z returned. Taking the lantern, he whispered, "We give our gratitude to the Ogmin for their gift of light." Then he blew out the lantern with one short, sharp breath. Dr. Z held the small star in the palm of his hand, where it emitted a faint glow, enabling them to see dimly. They continued on until the passage abruptly ended at a wall of stone. Replacing the lantern on a wall bracket, Dr. Z again repeated the procedure. He opened a large stone in front of them which barred their path. Stepping outside once again, Solana was amazed to discover that it was now night time. The smooth oval of silvery moon darted between wisps of clouds, casting a mood of mystery over everything. The two men put their hoods over their heads, hiding most of their features. They began moving purposefully downhill towards a tall spired gold gate which glittered in the moonlight. "Do not be alarmed by anything that you see, and matter do not stop no matter what happens," Dr. Z cautioned softly. In a few moments Solana heard raucous, wild laughter, and saw out of the corner of his hood a group of naked men and women carousing on the grass. And one man appeared to be pouring the contents of a pitcher of liquid over a woman who lay writhing and moaning on the ground. Bizarre beings of half human and half animal forms coupled with some of them. Solana felt a sickness arise in the pit of his stomach. Averting his eyes, he kept to the steady pace of Dr. Z. Finally they arrived at the gate. Without warning, a man clad entirely in black stepped menacingly out of the shadows towards him. Around his neck was a heavy silver pendant depicting an eye within a pyramid. The eye glimmered a sinister dark red. "Halt!" his rasping voice commanded. "Who dares to try to pass here?" "You hold no authority over us," spoke Dr. Zed firmly. "Let us through." The guard raised what appeared to be some sort of strange type of laser weapon at them. Dr. Zed instantly pulled a ruby red crystal from his robes and pointed it at him, murmuring words which even I am forbidden to repeat. The weapon instantly dematerialized, and the guard stood stunned and unable to move. Striding rapidly to the gate, Dr. Zed spoke in a voice of command, words that sounded like Arslan Inram. The gate disappeared, and they hurried through. The streets of Atlantis stood ominously silent and deserted. There was a terrible atmosphere of foreboding dread permeating everything. Moving quietly and purposefully, they finally arrived at the portals of a small white temple, marked only by the word Enora carved into the stone above the doorway. Dr. Sad hurriedly made a high-pitched sound which caused the door to open, and they rapidly slipped inside. Waiting in the entry to greet them was a tall and slender woman with a lovely face. Her long braided black hair was liberally streaked with gray. With deep emotion she embraced Dr. Z firmly. Something about her bearing reminded Solana of his deep browed Aka Kapak. Throwing back his hood, Dr. Z introduced Solana to his daughter Amani. Gently taking his hand, Amani smiled graciously. "Welcome to Atlantis, Solana. You have traveled such an immense distance to join us here. We are truly honored to have as our guest a representative of the remarkable kingdom of An from so far across the world. Come, we have prepared some refreshments for you." She led them into another room where a table was spread with delicious food and drink. Approaching footsteps could be heard, and soon a large man with a shaggy white mane of hair entered the room. His presence was immense, his aura seemed to absolutely fill the room. While he smiled warmly at Solana, his eyes showed intense concentration and concern caused by his shouldering what appeared to be massive responsibilities. Solana wondered if this man ever found time to sleep. Solana, I would like you to meet my husband Vanel. He is the master musician of Atlantis. Our temple of Anor is the temple of sound. Namani explained. Vanel and Solana looked deeply at each other and recognized a kindred being. Were not Vanel and Namani also of the lineage of An? They clasped hands in friendship, then Vanel excused himself in order to return to his urgent projects. I apologize that my husband cannot stay and visit with you. He devotes all of his time to his work these days, searching for the master vibrations which will transmute the negative energies being currently experimented with in Atlantis. Right now, the makers, our cast of priest scientists, work night and day to create sounds of far-reaching destruction. Funnel is attempting to counteract some of these transgressions and neutralize the distorted frequencies that are used in their manipulation for increased power and control. On my side, this is neither the best nor the easiest time that you have chosen to come to Atlantis, Solana, but apparently you are needed here now. Please try to relax while you eat and refresh yourself, she quotes. After they had eaten, Solana felt much more grounded than he had since arriving in Atlantis. Dr. Zed gazed at him keenly and asked, what think you of the mighty continent of Atlantis? It is far different from what I had experienced, Solana admitted. I had pictured it not in such troubled times. I guess that I expected to see the fair Atlantis that was sunk of long ago on my island of Rapa Nui when I was young. I feel somewhat in a state of shock. Some of the things that I saw tonight I knew not existed in this world. Dr. Z smiled at him with a look of warm compassion. It was not always thus here, Solana. Unfortunately, it is now as if an awful degeneracy has possessed the magnificent soul of Atlantis. Technology now rules over spirit. I sit at the end is drawing ever closer. We have tried our utmost to prevent this. We have attempted to transmute the discord, but the best that we have managed to do is to keep things somewhat under control. There are still small pockets of light existing here, but they must keep themselves quiet and hidden because the forces of decadence now prevail. They make us live upon the hill whereupon you arrived, Namani added. In the olden days they led a pure existence. They are dedicating themselves to their research with a true respect for the forces that they invoked. Sadly, in the present time, that understanding has been lost. More and more destructive powers are being unleashed. Magic and hideous experimentation are rampant. There are incredible power struggles for mastery and control of Atlantis. Life for most of us has become fearful and precarious. Solana shook his head in disbelief. But Dr. Zab, one thing I do not understand tonight, when the guard tried to keep us from going through the Golden Gate, why did you not identify yourself to him? Surely he would have let you through if he had known who you are. I have many powerful enemies within Atlantis, especially among the Makers, Dr. Z explained patiently. There are many who will wish for me demise. Yes, I admit that I am feared by some, which does serve me as a form of protection, but it is never wise to presume upon it. I still hold control over the magnetic grid. Many would wrest that from me if they were but given the opportunity. Without the key to the master grid, the forces of darkness cannot assume full power and control over Atlantis. At this point, it is simply easier and safer for me to go about my business somewhat anonymously. Solana remembered the messages that he still carried from his priest of Rapa Nui. What is the situation within the Brotherhood of Seven? He inquired, still profoundly stunned by Atlantis' impact upon him. Forget not, dear readers, that this sensitive soul had never before been exposed to the corruption of the world. Things have not gone well for them since the passing of their elder many years ago. Only 5 of the 7 remain. They have been unable to find anyone of the quality of courteousness and dedication necessary to replace the 2 who are gone. This has disillusioned them immensely. This once great fraternity is now simply 5 powerless old men who grieve at the decay of the civilization that was once so sacred and exalted. The Altazar exclaimed with great sadness and weariness. This is incredible, so unbelievable, and extremely tragic. For untold measurement of time I have dreamed of the moment when I would finally step forth upon the fair continent of Atlantis. Now that I have finally arrived, I am sorely grieved to find it thus, lamented Solana. Please, Solana, do not let our situation depress you, Nemanja said ever so gently. Solana could see that, although Nemanja appeared quiet and delicate, she had a core of tremendous courage and strength within her. It was so formidable that she need not express it outwardly. Anne was fully aware of our troubles when they sent you here. Remember that you serve your higher purpose by being in Atlantis right now. I'm sure that you know that we are not always assigned to where it is easiest for us. Often we are sent to the areas of greatest difficulty, for that is where the light is most in need. Tomorrow I shall take you to meet Alora in the temple of Oralin. She is one of the great ones still upon this planet, a beautiful angelic starry being. Now let me show you to your sleeping chamber. You should get some rest, for that is much of us to do in the tomorrow. Late at night, Solana lay sleepless, assimilating his many impressions. He could no longer clearly sort out the passing of time. Was it possible that less than a day before he had been an aunt with his beloved Solana? As he thought of her warmth began emanating within his heart, and he fell sweetly asleep. Thus did Solana enter into the confusion of the final days preceding the fall of Atlantis. It was difficult for him, that we knew well, but his presence was necessary for our plan, and his stay in Atlantis surely would not be a prolonged one.